Hi, good day everyone. This is Transpo Law, and the section that we are gonna discuss today is about the defenses for common carrier. So if you are an owner of a public utility vehicle or a common carrier, what could be your defenses in cases such as when there is injury or death or accidents happening with the passengers? So let's start. By the way, just a note, this video is intended only for educational purposes, not for legal advice. If you have any questions or need for legal advice, please consult a lawyer. So let's start first with the basics on liability of common carriers so that we could further understand how is it that they can raise the defenses for liability. So ano-ano yung mga basics? So let's start. So what is the effect of death or injury to passengers? So ito yung start if there's an injury or death na nag-occur sa passenger. And passenger, by the way, it's related to common carrier kasi wala namang passenger na, I mean, there's a passenger sa private vehicles, but the one that we're talking about here is generally with regard to passengers of a public utility vehicle. So ano yung epekto? So that's the question. Again, the question, what is the effect of death or injury to passengers? Answer, presumption of negligence on the part of the common carrier under a contract of carriage. So the answer is presumption of negligence. So when we say negligence, again, negligence, presumption means that there is a possibility to refute it with a counter evidence. So presumption gives rise to the obligation to another party that he should give evidence that there is absence of negligence. Bacaro et al., in this case of Bacaro versus Castaño, argued that it was only required ordinary diligence to prevent the actions of the stranger, which is the truck driver. However, the fact is there was a contract of carriage and Bacaro et al. Is required to exercise extraordinary diligence. So pag sa case na ito, yung sabi nila, stranger naman yung driver, so therefore hindi namin ma-prevent yung action sila kasi what we are only required is to exercise ordinary diligence to prevent the actions. However, the court said no. Yes, no with regard to that argument, but since you are a common carrier under a contract of carriage, you still have the obligation to exercise extraordinary diligence. And if there's an incident or injury or death, you are presumed negligent. So, again, what is a common carrier? It is a person, corporation, or firm or association engaged in the business of transporting or carrying goods or passengers or both via air, water, or land for compensation, consideration, offering their services to the public. So there are three categories or elements here: what they do, how they do it, and what's in it for them. So what they do is they carry passengers or goods or both. Second is through what or what's the medium, so that's via air, water, or land. And third, what's in it for them? What's in it for them? It's the profit, of course, or income. And or they since they want income, they cannot do it just only for one person, but they have to do it to the public. Okay, they have to announce it, somehow announce it or market it to the public. Kung sa Facebook pa naka-page sila, no? There's one case there one time that whether or not it's a common carrier, kung nagkukuha lang siya ng mga private, no, naka-schedule lang like mga vehicles for students, for example. So that could be a point of contention kung whether or not it's a common carrier. But this is the definition. What is a contract of carriage? A contract of carriage is between a carrier, a common carrier or of cargo or passengers, and the consignor, consignee, or passenger. So consignor again is the shipper. Consignee is the one that will receive, and passenger are persons that that ride or carry themselves on such common carrier. How are common carriers liable for the death of or injuries of passengers. So how? Through the negligence or willful acts of the employees of the common carriers. So pag sinabi natin common carriers dito, we are actually technically referring to the owner, no? Kasi hindi naman natin yan ma-refer into the, like for example, pag ship yan, hindi natin sinasabing yung common carrier mismo is yung ship, no? The physical ship, but the corporation behind the ship. So let's say for example, meron pa bang Negros na pag sa dito kasi merong Negros Navigation or to go, no? To go. So that's what we are referring to, the common carrier, the corporation behind such common carrier. Also, if airplane, PAL or Cebu Pac, and for jeepneys, which is a common question sa mga cases, the operator or the owners of the jeepney lines. Okay. So how they are liable is because of the acts of their employees or their drivers. Okay, dito. Although such employees may have acted beyond the scope of their authority or in violation of the orders of the common carriers. This is Article 1759. May case tayo mamaya na ititingnan kung paano ito nag-evolve, no? So, but right now, Codal Provision, Article 1759, kahit they acted outside of their scope or they acted in violation of the orders of common carriers, why is it na liable pa rin yung owner or yung common carrier? We will know later. So why is a jeep driver not solidarily liable with the owners in case of a breach of contract of carriage? So let's say may aksidente, may injury. So bakit hindi solidarily liable ang jeepney driver? Because the answer is the contract of carriage is between the carrier and the passenger. And the carrier alone is exclusively responsible to the passenger even if the breach is because of the negligence of the driver. Common sense then, otherwise the obligation is personal and the passenger may recover damages from the driver alone. So again, going back to our oblicon, if it's a solidary liability or tinatawag din siyang minsan jointly and severally, the fact is or the effect is the injured party can claim the whole obligation from either party. So yung remedy ng ng kinlayman, he can recover from the other. So since that is against public policy, kasi ang mangyayari niyan hahabulin lang ng injured passenger, for example, yung drivers, which according to this case, Philippine Rabbit Lines and other cases, the court said usually yung mga driver empleyado lang at wala naman sila talagang capital or means na magbayad. So usually the operator has, commonly speaking, may pera sila because sila mismo yung bumili ng sasakyan or may capital sila. So the driver again cannot be held several or solidarily liable. First, sabi sa case, the contract of carriage again is between the carrier and the passenger. Okay, and it's also in the case of Viluan versus the Court of Appeals. In other words, the carrier can neither shift his liability on the contract to his driver nor share it with him, for his driver's negligence is his. Okay, another reason, if we make the driver solidarily liable, okay, again, that would make the carrier's liability personal instead of merely vicarious. So pag vicarious, yung kasalanan ng isa ay pagbabayaran ng isa. Okay, so that's vicarious liability. And so yung law, ginawa ng law is vicarious, entitled to recover only the share which corresponds to the driver, contradictory to the explicit provisions of Article 2181 of the new Civil Code. So again, what the law prefers is vicarious liability, na pagbabayaran ang ating kasalanan ng isang persona or ng isang korporasyon pag tayo ay isang driver na nagkamali, na nagkagawa ng kasalanan, iba ang magbabayad. Okay? So when is an owner solidarily liable with the injuries caused by his employee? When circumstances show that owner did not exercise due diligence in selecting and supervising the driver. See the expanded view, majority view. So dito na kanina yung sinabi natin. So hindi siya hindi siya solidary liable but vicarious kasi this is an old case, no. The expanded view now is that kahit he acted outside of the authority of the carrier, the carrier is still liable. Okay. So is the ruling in case of quasi-delict that held that Isuzu truck liable binding against the jeepney driver? The answer is no, because they have different issues and causes of action. So sa case kasi na ito, yung driver, yung carrier sinampahan ng quasi-delict, okay, ng another driver. At yung jeepney driver kinasuhan din ng passenger na na-injure. I think this was in Negros Oriental, no? Dumaguete, Siliman. So yung nangyari dito, yung driver, dalawa yung kaso niya. By the other vehicle, the other one is by the passenger. So may ruling doon sa quasi-delict na let's say absolved siya or hindi siya or acquitted siya. So inargue niya, acquitted ako dito sa isa. Sabi ng court, hindi yan binding kasi iba yung cause of action ng quasi-delict. Okay? Ang quasi-delict has a different cause of action, different issue, and that is with regard to negligence, no, of the tortfeasor. So that's the cause of action sa quasi-delict, merong negligence. However, sa breach of contract naman is merely failure to perform the contractual obligation. So quasi-delict, isa sa features niya in the absence of a contract, di ba? Just a review sa Oblicon. Walang kontrata pero dahil may negligence, si tortfeasor nakagawa siya ng damage sa iba, therefore he is liable under quasi-delict. But sa contract of carriage is a contract. It's a source of obligation, and the source of obligation is failure to perform the obligations stipulated under the contract. So iba yung cause of action. By the way, what is cause of action? Just a review sa Civ Pro natin. An act or omission by which a party violates the right of another, entitled to another. So merong right yung isa na na-violate mo. So dito, meron sa quasi-delict yung right niya na-violate by negligence. Sa contract of carriage, na-violate yung obligation under the contract. But the driver is not solidarily liable with the owner because the carrier can neither shift his liability on the contract to his driver nor share it with him, for his driver's negligence is his. So ito yung sagot natin sa answer kanina, as a question kanina, na hindi pwede na solidary liability yung driver with the owner. So let's go now to defenses available pag ikaw ay PUV owner or common carrier. So what is contributory negligence? It is a conduct on the part of the injured party contributing as a legal cause to the harm he has suffered, which falls below the standard to which he is required to perform or conform for his own protection. So ito yung conduct ng injured party. Pag sinabing contributory negligence, hindi ito sa carrier. It is with the injured party. Okay? Ito yung kanyang mga ginawa na nag-contribute sa cause na nagkaroon siya ng injury, nag-suffer siya ng injury. So, hindi lahat ng pinagdusahan mo kasalanan ng iba. Minsan, kasalanan rin natin. No? Minsan, may nagawa tayo na nagdudusa-dusahan tayo, and sometimes we blame others. But sometimes, upon reflection, we may realize na yung mga pagdurusa pala natin ay dahil din mismo sa ating mga kagagawan. Okay? So, which falls below the standard. So, meron din yung law na pinoprovide na mga standards with regard to our conduct, especially sa pagsakay as passenger, for example. Malalaman natin in a while. So, according to the case of Estacion versus Bernardo, to hold a person as having contributed to his injuries, it must be shown that he performed an act that brought about his injuries in disregard of warnings or signs of an impending danger to health and body, Respondent know his act of hanging on the fiera is definitely dangerous to his life and limb. Sa case kasi na ito, yung passenger, nakita niya na yung common carrier is puno na, no? So what he did is, alam niya naman na mali, alam niya naman na delikado, no? Alam niya naman na mapapahamak siya, pero ginawa pa rin niya. So that is contributory negligence. Minsan kasi, alam naman natin na masasaktan tayo, pinipilit pa rin natin, no? May mga red flags na, may mga warning signs na. So that's the case of Estacion versus Bernardo. So, what he did is actually contributory negligence. Anong mga example? So, meron ako mga examples dito. Hanging at the rear portion. So, as what we have said kanina. That's why, I think, wala na ngayong mga... Dati kasi nung bata ako, papuntang Mambukal, sa town namin dito, pag umuwi kami sa bahay, minsan, pag gabi na, konti na lang yung jeep. So, what you do is you hang on to the jeep, no? That's why, yan na rin siguro yung fini-face out, no? Kasi, I think also in somewhere in Benguet, or somewhere, yung Sakada ba yun? Yung mga jeep na matitibay, no? Ako rin, nakasakay na rin ako sa bubong ng jeep when I was, I think as late as after college, no? When we went to Mambuka. So what's this about is that there's contributory negligence. Kasi alam mo naman knowing by foresight that such act could cause harm in himself. Nalala ko, wala pa nga kaming kinakapitan. I think meron lang kaming kinakapitan na maliit na yung parang bumubukol na sa bubong, no? And I was enjoying it, but actually, there's by foresight, that it has greater risk instead of just sitting inside the jeepney. So, iba, tawag sa amin dito, gakabit, no? Gakabit o ga-extension. So, that you are exercising contributory negligence. Another is overloading of passengers. Pag ikaw naman, yung na-experience mo yung injury, pero ikaw rin mismo ay nag-overload, no? Nag-overload ka beyond the seating capacity. That is overloading. That violates the traffic rules and regulation. Kaya when you go to or when you see a jeepney or ngayon fini-face out sila which is nire-resist din naman, but I don't know sa mga e-jeep kung meron silang statement of seating capacity, which is a very legal matter. Kasi once it is stipulated there na ganito lang yung seating capacity at sumobra ka doon, and then you incurred an accident, you as a common carrier will be liable for committing contributory negligence. Another example is failure to equip the vehicle with an early warning device. I think I have one experience here na pinarahan ako ng officer and then tinignan yung kung meron akong early warning device. Meron din ako mga kilala na nahuli, so dahil wala silang dalang early warning device. So hindi pwedeng nalagyan mo lang yan ng bote tsaka upuan. Yung iba kasi yan nakikita ko yung hinuhunos nila yung like pag sa jeep kinukuha nila and then nilalagay nila sa likod, no, ng sasakyan or somewhere, yung iba naglalagay ng puno doon or dahon ng saging, but that is a violation because ang early warning device, especially pag gabi, nagre-reflect siya, di ba? So dapat hindi ko nalagay dito. I think that's 100. Ito pala. Appropriate parking lights or flares visible 100 meters away shall be displayed at the corner of the vehicle whenever such vehicle is parked on highways or in places that are not well lighted. Kaya nire-require na yata ngayon ng LTO. So if you have a car, please bring with you an early warning device. Bumili kayo sa Shopee or somewhere there. Early warning device. No, bumili kayo sa hardware ng early warning device because may penalty yan pag wala. Dapat 100 meters away, makikita na siya. Especially by those approaching the dark alley or the dark thoroughfare of the road. So this is in the case of TU versus Arriesgado. Where things do not limit or eliminate the common carrier's liability. Medyo hindi ko maintindihan yung ginawa kong tanong, but let's go. So, okay. So, ano yung hindi naglilimit, no, ng liability? First is ordinary diligence. Upon proof that they exercise all diligence, the good of the father of the family. Okay. So, ito yung mga hindi nag-exculpate or nag-remove ng liability. kahit nag-exercise ka ng ordinary diligence sa selection and supervision of employees under Article 1759, it's not an excuse for the liability because of the majority view in Maranan versus Perez. So in Maranan versus Perez, and in the article that we have read a while ago under the Civil Code, kahit nag-exercise ka pa ng selection or ordinary diligence sa pag-supervise ng employees mo or selection, expanded view is that yung personality nila, yung character nila, dapat consider din sa factor na pagpili mo. Stipulation of the parties, just by mere posting of notices or by statements on the tickets or otherwise, okay, this cannot be contracted away. Yung law sa common carrier, hindi siya pwedeng eliminate yung required diligence by mere stipulation of the parties. What must the passenger observe to avoid injury to himself? So again, contributory negligence arise if hindi mo ma-observe yung standard na to, which is the diligence of a good father of a family. Just a review, this is commonly called as ordinary diligence under Article 1761. What is the effect of contributory negligence of the passenger? How about that of the shipper or owner? So ano yung effect pag naka-commit ng contributory negligence? Answer, if the proximate cause is the negligence of the common carrier, it does not bar recovery of damages for the passenger's death or injuries. So, dapat mo ma-prove muna, number one, is the proximate cause. Ito ba yung proximate cause ng injury niya? Second, hindi ito totally magbabar but it only equitably reduce the amount of damages due to him by the common carrier. So, hindi ito totally mag-annihilate or mag-remove ng liability but just reduction. Logically follows, if the proximate cause is the negligence of the passenger alone, it will bar recovery of damages. So, ang keyword naman dito is alone, no? If so alone lang, yung may kasalanan lang talaga is the passenger alone, no? Article 1762 and 1741. If the proximate cause is the negligence of the common carrier, it does not bar recovery of damages. Okay, inulit lang. That's why, just to share, there's a proverb in Numbers 32 says, but if you will not do so, behold, you have sinned against the Lord, and be sure your sin will find you out. So that's why there's equity, no? There's an equity in contributory negligence. Kasi if pag may kasalanan din ka naman, you must equitably reduce din yung entitlement para sa iyo, no? So that's equity or justice. Next is doctrine of assumption of risk. Ano naman ito? This is another defense. What is the doctrine of assumption of risk? Answer is, it is a defense of a common carrier where plaintiff who voluntarily assumes a risk of harm arising from the defendant's conduct or voluntarily chooses to enter or remain within the area of such risk under circumstances manifesting his willingness to accept the risk. There are three elements: knowledge, understanding of the nature of the risk, and voluntary incurrence. This is in the case of Abrogar versus Cosmos bottles, no? So sa case na yun, yung nag-join siya ng marathon, no? Namatay siya because of the vehicular accident. The court said that it is beyond the knowledge of the runner na mamamatay siya or may death doon. So therefore, the organizers are liable. But since yung kinasuhan nila is the sponsor, sa Abrogar versus I think Pop Cola, or the head company. So walang liability kasi sponsor lang. Okay. Another defense of a common carrier is exercise of extraordinary diligence. In case of death or injuries to passengers, how can a common carrier escape the presumption that they have acted negligently? So the answer is, over the goods, they must show that the cause, the proximate cause, is natural calamity such as flood, earthquake, or lightning. Act of public enemy, act of public authority, act of the shipper or owner, character of the goods. So, makita natin dito yung nature, kaaway, gobyerno, shipper, and character of goods. Ma-divide natin ito. This is you better memorize, no? 1733 kasi usually lumalabas ito sa mga exams. So, we can categorize this as the actions of the party, the other party. Yung kasalanan din naman yung character of goods, no? And then, acts of God, and then acts of other persons. Okay. So, party sa ibaba, other persons na higher, let's say public enemy, the enemy of the states, and acts of God. So, God, government, or the enemies of the government, and the acts of the other party, such as the character of goods and or the shipper and owner. Over the passengers, how can they exculpate their liability if nag-exercise yung common carrier ng extraordinary diligence? Ano yung meaning ng extraordinary diligence? Utmost diligence of very cautious persons as far as human foresight is concerned. So, ang keyword dito, utmost diligence of very cautious persons. Hindi siya ordinary diligence. No? Kunwari, yung ordinary is a good father of family. Yung utmost diligence, we can compare very cautious persons, let's say, sa very cautious person sa nagtatrabaho, for example, sa laboratory, no, na may mga biological risks, no, medtech, for example. I think that's a higher kind of diligence diyan. Pag pumasok ka, naka-lab gown ka, or yung mga nagtatrabaho sa COVID facilities or testing facilities. So those are the higher kind of diligence. Force majeure, okay? And we will know later kung ano yung mga qualifications para ma-apply ang force majeure and rise siya as a defense. Article 1755. Under Article 2185 of the Civil Code, a person driving a vehicle is presumed negligent if at the time of the mishap he was violating any traffic regulation. Why is this so? So 2185 is clear na pag may aksidente and one of the parties is violating or has violated a traffic regulation during the time of accident, presumed automatically negligent siya. Because violating traffic regulations while driving is inconsistent with the principle of extraordinary diligence. The presumption of negligence must be rebutted by the carrier by presenting evidence that it exercised or the extraordinary diligence. So the fact na na-violate mismo yung traffic rules, it's a sign that you are not exercising extraordinary diligence. Otherwise, it will be deemed that the carrier failed to conclusively rebut such presumption. The law compels owners to curb the recklessness of their drivers. This is under Philippine Rabbit Bus Lines versus IAC. Next, question. If a passenger killed another passenger, how can the carrier be absolved from liability? In other words, this is force majeure. If the injury or death was in no way due to a defect in the method of transporting, or the injury or death was not due to the negligent act of the common carrier's employees, such as injury or death was created by strangers which the carrier had no control or prior knowledge. So, wala dapat prior knowledge yung common carrier. Yung common carrier will be negligent if they received intelligence or saw a passenger making suspicious actions or any circumstance forewarning them for them to take precautionary measures such as making checks on passengers. So in this case, in-invoke kasi nila yung isang case na may liability yung common carrier. So the court said, in that case kasi, ang common carrier, naka-receive sila ng intelligence, ng report na merong masamang elemento na sumakay. So they should have acted promptly. While in this case, wala silang kahit anong report. Florida Transport versus Heirs of Batung. So yung Heirs of Batung, I think namatay yung kanilang parent or somewhere in their ascendant. So they accused Florida Transport of liability. They asked for damages for the claim. But the court said it was beyond the knowledge or control of the common carrier. Hindi rin ito sa defect ng kanilang method of transporting, at hindi rin ito dahil sa negligence ng kanilang common carrier. Magiging negligent lang ang kanilang common carrier or employee nila if there is a showing na nalaman nila na may masamang elemento na sumakay at hindi sila nagkaroon ng checkpoint. Hindi nila pina-check yung mga bags, hindi nila kinapa or gumawa ng mga safety precautions. Okay, should common carriers be allowed to assume that passengers won't bring anything dangerous to himself and others? So yung tanong, kahit alam naman pala natin na pag alam mong delikado, why not i-check mo na lang? Or bakit hindi na lang natin lahat ng umaakyat sa na passenger i-check? 'Di ba na notice nyo pag sumakay ka sa bus, may times na grabe yung checkpoints, grabe yung pagtingin sa mga baggage. May mga times din na kung sino-sino na lang yung sumasakay. Sabi ng court, hindi naman sa lahat ng oras ay may danger na ina-assume. Okay? And it is assumed that lahat ng sumasakay na outwardly perceptible, wala namang danger, harmful sila. So, no need for search and seizure. Kasi pag in-over mo naman yan, nag-over ka naman sa pagsa-search and seizure, that could transgress the constitutional rights of other people, of passengers, against unreasonable search and seizures. So, sa common carriers, you can search actually, but if there's only reasonable grounds or reasons to do so. See then, this is a reminder, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So this is a reminder na pag alam naman natin may evil sa mundo, na we have to walk as wise and not as fools. It's a great reminder. The keyword is circumspectly. We have to be circumspect. So we have to be reflective of what or how we conduct ourselves. Okay. Another defense is doctrine of last clear chance. So pag ikaw kunwari yung let's say naka-injure, that could, as a common carrier, you have to check if sino yung may doctrine of last clear chance. Where does it apply? Answer: only in a suit between the owners and drivers of two colliding vehicles. It does not apply when a passenger holds a carrier accountable for its contractual duties. So hindi ito nag-a-apply sa passenger-carrier relationship, but only between two drivers. It would be unfair to let a negligent driver and their employer off the hook simply because another driver was also negligent. So pag ito kasi sa passenger siya in-apply, ang mangyayari is mag-i-invoke lang yung driver, hindi ako liable under common carrier or contract of carriage kasi yung other driver na bumangga is has the last clear chance. So it only applies between drivers, okay? Maybe between two common carriers. So this is in Tew versus Arriesgado. So under this, a subset of this is practical impossibility to take evasive action. So, as a defense, kung ikaw naman yung sinabihan as a colliding vehicle, sinabihan ka, you have the last clear chance. Your another sub-defense is, no, it's impossible. It's already impossible for me to take evasive actions. In the case of Philippine Rabbit Bus Lines versus IAC, the court said that although the jeepney's abrupt and dangerous positioning arguably gave the bus the last clear chance to avoid the accident, the practical impossibility to take effective evasive action due to the speed, distance, and suddenness of the jeep's maneuver shifts the focus back to the jeepney driver's actions as the proximate cause of the accident. So again, liability is with the person who is the proximate cause. And if upon showing nasa sayo yung kunwari yung last clear chance, pwede mong ibalik yung proximate cause sa other party if you can show that it is practically impossible for you to evade the action of the other party, and therefore the other party has the liability. The proximate cause of the accident is the negligence of one party alone. Proximate cause in this case is the negligence of the petitioner PNR alone, hence this doctrine is not applicable. So sa case naman ng PNR versus Bronte, sinabi naman ng PNR o ng railway company na yes, nabangga namin yung sasakyan ng American na yan, but the court said that wala ditong hindi applicable yung last clear chance kasi hindi negligent yung isang party. So that's the case. Dapat negligent yung both parties. Okay? For this doctrine to apply. Sa case na ito, negligent lang yung PNR kasi wala silang signs na ito ay isang railroad crossing. So the vehicle of Bronte I think nag-overtake sa isang car na natabunan yung crossing. So, hindi nila alam, hindi nila nakita, ay crossing pala dyan. So, nag-overtake siya kasi I think the car in front of them was, I think the car knew na may train. So, nag-overtake, nabangga. So, they died. No? So, hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na siya yung may last clear chance pag siya wala naman siyang kasalanan or negligence. So again, what is proximate cause? It is the one that is unbroken, yung natural and continuous sequence unbroken by without any efficient intervening cause. So sa approximate cause, ito dapat yung cause, and then ito yung effect, okay, yung red circle. Sabi dito sa definition, yung kulay blue na arrow na ito, it's the natural and continuous sequence, okay? And dapat walang intervening cause, okay? Wala dapat na intervening cause. Kasi pag may intervening cause, hindi na ito liable yung alleged proximate cause. When can it be held that only one party was negligent? Sorry for the wrong grammar. Negligent. Okay? Only one party had inadequate safety standards in transportation and the other was well within his right. So that's another further question. So bakit natin nasabi na sa PNR versus Bronte, hindi negligent si Bronte? Kasi, yun nga, yung they are well within his right. Okay, consider the circumstances prevailing at the time of the fatal accident. The alleged safety measures installed by the PNR at the railroad's crossing is not only inadequate, but does not satisfy well safety standards in transportation. Okay, so dapat kung ikaw rin yung sinabihan na hindi ka na-exercise ng last clear chance, you have to prove that you are well within his right. Dapat tayo ay nasa tama. Nasa sarili tayong mga karapatan. Kasi pag lumabas na tayo sa ating karapatan, risk na yan. That's already adventure seeking. Pag nasaktan tayo, na wala naman tayong karapatan, okay, o nilalagay ka lang sa sitwasyon na wala ka namang karapatang magreklamo, magdudusa ka talaga, no? So this case teaches us that it's better to stay within our rights. Okay? Kasi we will be vindicated. Okay? That's the effect. Another defense is force majeure. So this is one of the enumerations kanina. There's a proverb that says, "Go now, you say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city." Pumunta tayo doon. Magbe-venture tayo doon, buy and sell and get gain. Magpa-profit, make money. Whereas you know not what shall be on tomorrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanisheth away. For that you ought to say, the Lord wills, we shall live and do this or that. So, magbe-venture ka, magbe-business ka, but actually, hindi natin alam what tomorrow will bring. So, we must, because sabi dito, our life is even a vapor, like yung lumalabas sa kumukulong tubig. It's there, here today and gone tomorrow. It appears for a little time and vanishes. So, what we have to do is we have to be humble and says, kung will ito, kung kakawaan ako, so be it. Pag hindi, so be it. So this teaches us humility. Kasi ito yung force majeure. Kahit anong best na gawin natin, no? Anong effort na ginawa natin, meron pa ring acts of God no? Meron pa ring force majeure, or another term is fortuitous event beyond the control of man. So it is an excuse if the cause of the breach is independent of the debtor's will. The events are unforeseeable or unavoidable. So that's a very hallmark definition of force majeure. Hindi mo siya ma-predict, hindi mo siya na-analyze, hindi mo siya at the best human way possible. Kahit na foresee mo na siya, hindi mo pa rin ma-avoid. Okay? Hindi mo mapigilan. So the event is such as to render it impossible for the debtor to fulfill his obligation in a normal manner, and the debtor did not take part in causing the injury to the creditor. Can mere allegation of force majeure absolve a common carrier from liability? No. Siyempre, a mere allegation must be proven by the existence of the elements or causation. He must prove that it was due to natural causes alone and exclusively without human intervention. So this is very important. Kasi hindi ka pwedeng sabihin mo na lang, force majeure acts of God yan. Kung ma-prevent naman lang sana siya ng human causation or human action, you cannot blame God. Minsan, again, biniblame natin yung force majeure, but actually, may part din tayo na ginawa. The Bachelor Express versus CA. When can an accident not be considered fortuitous event? Again, this is just a repetition, another form of questioning. When an accident is something that could have been avoided by human factors. So, pag ikaw yung lawyer or someone, you should have to identify, ito ba ay pwedeng mapigilan sana ng human action, ng pag-foresee, ng human foreseeability of human foresight. Okay? Bacaro versus Catano. A passenger stopped another passenger inside the bus. The bus did not immediately stop and open the door. Other passengers jumped off the bus from the window and died. Is force majeure tenable? Dito kasi sa case na to, namatay yung mga passengers kasi they jumped off the window kasi may sinaksak. I think that may sinaksak na soldier sa case na to. The answer is no. It was not force majeure because the bus could have stopped the bus immediately when the commotion happened and could have opened the door immediately. For some reason, hindi binuksan ng driver yung kanyang window at for some reason hindi rin niya hininto yung sasakyan. Okay. The liability of Bachelor Express is anchored on culpa contractual or contract of carriage. Therefore, the death of passengers leads to the presumption that the common carrier is negligent. To overcome this presumption, Bachelor must prove it exercised extraordinary diligence. Force majeure cannot prosper by the mere allegation of the existence of it. It does not absolve a common carrier from liability. For force majeure to prosper, the accused must prove it was due to natural causes alone and exclusively without human intervention. The bus driver did not immediately stop the bus at the height of the commotion, and the victims fell from the door when it was opened while the bus was still running. At about 48 to 65 kilometers per hour, the speed of the bus could scarcely be considered slow. At first, the passenger also could not pass through the door because according to the evidence, the door was locked. So, tumalo na sila, namatay sila because of the high speed of the bus. Okay? Another defense are acts of strangers. So, doon kanina sa Bachelor case, may stranger din naman. Okay? That's outside of the knowledge and control of the common carrier. But, it was not absolved because hindi niya binuksan yung pinto at hindi niya hininto yung bus. But when will a common carrier not be liable for the acts of strangers or other passengers? That's a question. Answer, if the common carrier could have prevented the act or omission through exercise of ordinary diligence. So when will common carrier not be liable? If the common carrier could not, I think the answer here is could not have prevented the act through exercise of ordinary diligence. Sa prevention naman ng strangers, hindi siya extraordinary diligence, but ordinary diligence, no? Kasi kanina sa pag-carry ng pagtransport ng passenger, extraordinary diligence. Sa pag-prevent naman ng strangers or other passengers, it's ordinary diligence. Sa case na to, or this is Article 1763, can a civil case of recovery for damages against the driver correct prosper? Walang correct, no? No, because an action for recovery of damages is predicated on breach of contract of carriage, and the cab driver was not only a party thereto, only the employer carrier. The driver's civil liability is covered in a criminal case wherein he was convicted by final judgment. Okay, again, walang solidary liability sa between carrier and driver because it's against public policy, but merong civil liability that can stand alone sa criminal case kasi criminal case is personal, individual. Maranan versus Perez. How can a carrier owner not be liable in the acts of its driver? Due diligence in the selection and supervision of employee. In selection, diligent examination, he must not only hastily hire him. In supervision, must owner show that he had formulated training programs and guidelines on road safety. There must be proof of routine inspection. Estacion versus Bernardo. Maranan, selection includes consideration of the moral fiber, total personality, and behavior. So this was a later case na. So dito naman with kahit sa within the bounds of duty, pero na-prove pa rin kung na-prove ng common carrier na it exercise diligence in selection and supervision and that hindi naman acts ng driver acts ng driver, then the common carrier is not liable for the acts of its driver. But medyo mahirap to. Kasi sinabi rin sa Maranan na yung kahit the selection is in consideration of the moral fiber is the duty of the carrier. So not defenses for common carriers are boundary system. So hindi pwede na i-invoke lang ng operator, under boundary system, nire-rent niya lang yung aking sasakyan. Because does a boundary system exculpates the owner of the carrier from the injuries caused by his driver? Answer is no, because there is an employer-employee relationship in the boundary system. Exempting the owner violates the law and is inimical to the public interest. So, merong employer-employee relationship. This is also a question in labor law. Yung mga nasa labor, as jeepney drivers in the boundary system, you can employ the fourfold test, no? So they have employer-employee relationship. At pag hindi mo yan consider, the public cannot go against the carrier. So sa driver lang, and again, it's a common knowledge na they are replete with resources to compensate the victims. Okay? This is in Hernandez versus Dolor. Another defense na hindi nag-prosper is that the claimant is under the cabit system or cabit system. Should the operator under the cabit system be entitled to damages? So dito kasi sa case na to, yung cabit system, yung certificate of public convenience ng owner, ng true owner, hindi pa niya tin-transfer. So cabit system is when a person who has been granted a CPC allows another person who owns a motor vehicle to operate under such franchise or for a fee. So this was abused, in the past decades, and this is identified as one of the root causes of graft and corruption in the government. This is recognized as contrary to public policy in the case of Lita Enterprise versus IAC. It is a fundamental principle that the court will not aid either party to enforce an illegal contract but will leave them both where it finds them. So impari delicto yung case na to. Pero in the later case of Lim versus CA, GR number 125817, the court said that kahit void yung contract na to or illegal yung ginawa nila, the party under the cabit system is entitled to damages if the main purpose of the cabit system prohibition is not violated. and that it is the proper identification of the responsible party. In this case, the parties of the kabit system are the ones who are wronged and are claiming for the damages or seeking relief. Valid defense of parties under the kabit system if such parties are the ones seeking relief, not escaping liability. So this is in the later case of Lim versus CA. Another defense that will not prosper is that the employee acted beyond the scope of his authority. So parang na-discuss na rin natin ito. In the old jurisprudence, carrier is not liable because passenger was killed outside the scope of the employee's authority and was decided under the old civil code. But in the it's also in the minority view. No? Minority view until today, in the modern case of Maranan versus Perez, the killing of the passenger was done within the scope of the duties of the employee, and under the doctrine of respondeat superior, there are two kinds of views, minority and majority view. Employer, sa majority view, ito yung ina-adapt ng court, that employer is absolutely liable when assault happens within the course of the employee's duty. There's a high degree of care required if there's common carrier. There's vicarious liability and the duty to carefully select. The employer must duly consider not only the driver's technical and physical competence but also his total personality, behavior, and moral fibers and social attitude. So napaka-strict ng standard na mahirap ma-exculpate yung carrier sa ginawa ng driver. I-prove niya pa na may mga trainings, i-prove niya pa yung mga selection was strictly done extraordinarily. Okay, that's the only way out. But in the case of Maranan versus Perez, respondeat superior, or that the employer must answer or the superior must answer, is that it has a very strict, or the other term is stringent view. So there's a very stringent, lagay natin dito, stringent standard that carrier always has to be liable. Vicarious liability, as we end, again, that's a common principle, a legal concept in which one party is held partly responsible for the actions of a third party, maybe not partly but even wholly responsible, kasi that's solidarity. But again, due to solidarity, it can run after the driver. And there's a proverb that reminds us of this in 2 Corinthians 5:21. This is the ultimate vicarious liability. Yung kasalanan ng iba, inako niya. This says, for he hath made him to be sin for us who knew no sin. So siya na walang liability, siya na walang offense, ginawa siyang offense for us, that we might be made the righteousness of God in him. That's the beauty of the vicarious death of the Son of God, because he became the dirt, he became the dung, he became the dirt for the dirty, and he absorbed like a sponge, and that even he shouted, why have you forsaken me? So that the ultimate goal is we might be made the righteousness, we may be clean, we may be spotless like him, and through him we can face the eternal and holy being. We can stand before him unjudged and be accepted forever. Thank you very much, and God bless everyone. Bye-bye.